Hi everyone, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this video we're going to learn the two-player game, Bottom of the Ninth, designed by Daryl Lauder and Mike Mullins and published by Dice Hate Me Games. At the time of this recording, the game is currently on Kickstarter, and I know some of you are probably thinking, wait a second, Rodney, you don't cover Kickstarter games. And you're right. So what's going on here? Well, in 2014, at BGG-Con, I had a chance to try the game out with Daryl Lauder, and I turned to him right there and I said, you know what, I think I would consider breaking my rules for this one. Because I'm not a baseball fan, and I didn't feel like I needed to be in order to play and potentially enjoy the game. And that appealed to me, and I thought it might appeal to some of you, and hopefully through this video you can help make an informed decision about whether or not this one would be a good fit for you or not. Now, just to be clear, this is not a paid preview, and I'm backing the game myself. So if you decide to back it, you're out just as much money as I am. Arguably, I'm out more because I'm paying with that funny Canadian money. In the game, it's the bottom of the ninth inning. The score is tied, and one player will be controlling the team at bat. Now, this ragtag team of misfits really never thought they'd get this far in the game, especially against such a dominating team. So if they can just get one more run, they'll win and prove everyone wrong who doubted them. The other player is controlling the pitchers, and this team has been dominating, and there's no way they're going to lose to this upstart team that doesn't deserve to even be on the field with them. So there's the setting of the game. Let's go to the table and learn how to play. Now, something I want you to keep in mind is that these are prototype materials based on the print and play version of the game. So what that means is after watching this video, you can go to the Kickstarter page and for free print out this game and try it for yourself. But in the final version, there'll be more players. The materials may be slightly different, and there could be some adjustments to the characters' abilities, and possibly some minor rules changes, but otherwise, what you see here will accurately represent how the game is played. Begin the setup by placing the field between the players. Of all of the options provided by the game, the player chosen to hit will pick 4 batters, and arrange them in the order they will go to the plate to attempt to hit. Once you've chosen your starting lineup, you'll want to flip them over to the side showing the player's special abilities. And you'll notice these have been designed to look like collectible baseball cards. But the game does not come with a stick of gum, at least not a real one. If you flip this over, on the other side, you will find the at-bat token. You'll place this underneath of the first at-bat player. And below that, put the 5 pitch count tokens. Each of these players receive their own base, runner, meeple, and the batting player should also collect 2 pitch tokens and the red 6-sided die. The other player looks at the various pitchers and picks 2 of them. One that will be designated to start the game and the other that will be held in reserve. Again, both of these should be flipped over. Looking at the starting pitcher's information, we find here their ace pitch. These are the fatigue tokens, and depending on their side, they will either say high and away or low and inside. Set these to match the values shown with the ace pitch, and place them on the top row of the fatigue track. The pitcher also places the 3 out tokens beside the board here, and collects 2 pitch tokens and these 2 dice. And finally, each player should collect a hitting card to reference during the game. And that's the setup. In bottom of the ninth, the pitcher will secretly choose a pitch style, and the batter will be trying to guess it. The better you outguess your opponent, the more abilities you will unlock for your player, giving you a better shot at that necessary hit or out, as the case may be. The game is played over a series of rounds broken into 5 phases each, starting with the stare down. Here, the batter places one of their meeples on the home plate. Next, each player secretly sets their pitch tokens, and when both players are ready, they simultaneously reveal them. The batter now places each correctly matched token onto their player card, and the pitcher will collect any token that the batter did not correctly guess. Each player has a variety of special abilities, but you can only use them if you have the appropriate tokens. In this case, our pitcher has the white token, so they'll be able to use this second ability that says the pitcher can re-roll any one pitcher's die. Likewise, the batter with the red token has unlocked this first ability that says they'll be able to add plus or minus 1 to their swing. And if a player has both tokens, they don't unlock all of the abilities, just the final one here, which sometimes, as in this case, will give you access to some of the prior abilities as well. Each pitcher also has an ace pitch, which is shown here. If both of their tokens match the values shown here, they gain the benefit of the ace pitch, even if one of those tokens was correctly guessed by the batter. However, if both of the tokens were guessed, then you lose the benefit of your ace pitch. Remember, we also set the fatigue track to match the ace pitch. Anytime your tokens here match either of these, you move that matching token down one space on the fatigue track. So we did use an inside that will fatigue this value by 1. Once a token hits the lowest position on the fatigue track, the pitcher will no longer be able to set this token to that value. From now on, we'll have to set this to away, which certainly gives the batter an advantage when they're trying to guess what the pitcher is going to do. A player may also have a trait, and these are always active. Next is the pitch phase. The pitcher takes their 2 dice and rolls them. This is specifically the pitch and the control die. After rolling them, you may have access to abilities that will allow you to modify their results, which you will show by turning them to the correct die face. In this case, I've unlocked the second ability, so I could, if I wanted to, re-roll either of these dice, but I don't want to. I like these results. If an ability only triggers based on a specific die result, for example, down here in this curveball it says if you've rolled a 2 to 5 on the control die, then something happens. If the number required to trigger an effect is in a box, like we see here, within the text of the card, that means it only happens if you naturally roll that result, not if you get to it by modifying the die roll with another ability. Next, it's time for the swing phase. The batter will roll their swing die and modify the result with their traits or any other unlocked abilities. Now it's time to compare that result to what the pitcher rolled and determine what happens. The pitch die will either show an S, B, or a C. Then you check to see whether the swing die is higher than, equal to, or lower than the control die, and that will give you the result. So for example, with this S, we'll check here. If the value was higher, then the batter has hit the ball. If the values are equal, it's a foul ball. Anytime you see no result, it's a strike. In this case, the swing die is less than the control die, and that means the batter has swung a strike. Now let's say this had been a B. If the swing is higher than the control die, it's a strike. If it's equal to, it's a ball. If it's lower than, it's also a ball. And if it was a C, only an equal value would be a hit. Anything else is a strike. A result of a ball or a strike you indicate by putting a token on the appropriate space. However, sometimes the batter will roll a value, like this one, that doesn't look like a hit. But if they have a bonus that will modify the result and turn it into a hit, they just point this out by declaring something like, my red bonus gives me a +1, and my trait gives me a +1. I've hit. No matter how the hit happens, whether naturally or through a modified result, both players now quickly pick up their dice with the pips and start rolling them as quickly as possible. This simulates the batter running frantically for the first base and the pitcher's team trying to scramble and get that ball to tag them out. If the batter is the first to roll a 5 or a 6, they yell out safe and advance their batter 1 base, pushing any other meeples they encounter 1 base forward. If a runner was already on second base when this happened, then the runner would advance the first base, but the second base runner would stay where they are. If, on the other hand, the pitcher was the first player to roll a 5 or a 6, they yell out, and the meeple at bat is taken off of the field. Any other meeples remain where they are. An out is also recorded on the field. This is also where you would record an out if the batter had 3 strikes. As soon as there are 3 outs, the pitcher's team wins the game. However, as soon as a single runner gets all the way to home plate, the batter wins the game. If both players roll a 5 or a 6 at the same time, it's a tie. But ties always go in favor of the runner. So the pitcher obviously does not want to see the batter get hits, but what they really don't want to see is when the batter crushes the ball. Anytime the batter successfully hits the ball with a natural roll of a 6, they've crushed it. And this means they get to roll the die 1 more time on a result of 1 or 2. It's a regular hit where both players start rolling the dice as quickly as possible. But now the pitcher must roll a 6 in order to call an out. On a result of 3 or 4, as shown down here, it's an automatic hit. You can skip the run phase and just advance the runner 1 base. On a roll of 5, it's a double. And so you advance the hitting meeple 2 bases. If instead you roll a 6, you've hit a home run. But the pitcher gets one last chance to grab the ball at the wall by rolling their die, and on a 6, They snag the ball for an out. Any other result is a home run and the batting player wins the game right away. After the run phase, assuming the game isn't over, you advance to the cleanup phase. Here, the pitcher will count the number of empty bases remaining on the field, in this case, 2, and that represents their relief points. Each point they now spend, they can move one of their fatigue tokens up 1 space on the fatigue track. So with 2 points, I can move each of these up 1 space, or I might choose to give all the points to the inside and move it up 2 spaces. After facing at least 2 batters, the player can replace their pitcher 1 time with the pitcher they had in reserve. Next, they'll need to switch their fatigue tokens to match the new ace pitch, and then place those tokens on the second highest levels of the fatigue. This is as high as a relief pitcher's fatigue can ever go. And that's how you play bottom of the 9th. Now, I hope you'll stick around because in another episode, we're going to do a full playthrough of the game so you can see how all of this comes together. But if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to put them in the comments below and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. But until the next episode, thanks for watching.